What's going on, Yankee fans? Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone you are in. I am Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy, and welcome to Bombers Banter here on the Sports Insanity Network. Recap of June. I am joined, of course, by my good friend, the vice president of the network, Danny Boy Reginald, and we have a very special guest coming out of his hole. It's a very nice hole, though, Patch. I'll give you that. It's a very nice.
Very okay.
This is a very nice hole that I've dug myself to put myself in. It was great, very great, but I had to get out for a little bit.
Bigly. And we got it. And it's an interesting guest we have today because he's not a Yankee fan. He's a former Yankee fan.
Been since like 2009, I think.
But he's going to give us a non-biased perspective. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him, even though we tried. The president of the network, Lawrence Patchman Lang.
Oh,
Hello.
Hello, boys. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and
Patchy, of all things you have to return to, for one thing, you always go on face turn, but then you never give us a hello. And now all of a sudden you just pop out whenever you want to.
This was not planned, by the way, folks. This was not planned.
Yeah,
I just came in the Zoom room. He just happened to be here, and because one of the things we're covering today, he said, "Okay, hey, I got to do it." I'm like, okay, we'll keep you here.
Well, okay. in the words of out in the face turn world, in the world of professional wrestling, if you say his name, he shall appear. I believe in Joe Hendry, but this time it's I believe in Patchman. So Patchman is here to discuss a little baseball.
Yes. We'll get to what was, lackluster to say the least for the Yankees in June. Now I will say this, Bill Murphy and Patchman, since you're here. I will say this. Given what the Yankees went through, 14-13 in June is not the worst thing in the world. It should have been worse.
It could have been worse.
Should have been worse. They should have lost that game on Friday to the Blue Jays, but somehow, some way, Mr. Juan Soto, Patchy's old right fielder, big-time power hitter, came through big time with a big 2-run home run. That helped give the Yankees the lead. It was back and forth. Eventually, Gleyber Torres hit a home run that gave them the lead for good, and they were able to get a bunch of runs after that. They ended up winning big on Friday. They split the series officially in Toronto, and then now they start July at home. Look, the Yankees had a really rough month. They faced the Dodgers. They had a really bad series in Boston. They came across a red-hot New York Mets team. And then if we're being really, really, really honest, dude, the Baltimore Orioles are better than the Yankees.
You know what? I am not gonna debate you on that, my friend. And Big Al, if you're listening to this, he's probably not, because why would he listen to a Yankee podcast? But the Orioles are the stronger team. And listen, just about the whole month in general, Reg, I said that June was going to be a tough month. We knew this wasn't going to be an easy month. And because I was thinking that originally, okay, we're going to beat the Giants. We did. We were going to beat the Twins. We did. I knew we were going to lose to the Dodgers. We did. I know we were going to beat the Royals. We did. And then the Red Sox series, I thought that was going to go 2 out of 3 for us. It went the other way. The O's, I thought we were going to try to hold on. That didn't happen. The Braves, I was thinking, okay, we might lose the series, but we might have a slight chance of winning because Acuna was going to be out. And let alone, I was wrong. And then the Mets, and we talked about a lot about that on SIP, so we won't get too much into it.
The bottom line is
it's the Grimace anti-curse. It's the anti-curse of Grimace.
Yeah.
I'll leave Grimace sad at this.
Yeah.
Hey,
You gotta leave Grimace out of this.
but no, but you know what? And I said this on SIP. I said this last week when we did it with Mike Rifkin and Mark Halpern, and I did it again with we did it again with when we did it by ourselves earlier this week. The Mets could not pick a better time to play the Yankees.
Yeah.
They couldn't.
And they ran into a very struggling Yankee team, a banged up Yankee team, may I add.
They're coming off
And
they were coming off the Red Sox series loss. They were coming off the Orioles series loss, and they were coming off the Braves series loss. So the Mets could not pick a better time to play the Yankees.
and, and on top of that, the Yankees showed what they're like when they're banged up. They showed what they're like when everything's not coming together. Pitching wasn't coming together. Hitting wasn't coming together. It's tough. It's tough. It's really tough to win if the only people contributing are Anthony Volpe, Juan Soto, and Aaron Judge. That's not a winning formula. Everyone has to come together like that. For instance, Sunday's game in Toronto. That was a complete effort by everyone. Cole going 5 innings, only giving up a run. And then you had all the bats all around. Glaber getting involved, Volpe getting involved, Judge another big time home run. Trent Grisham had an RBI double. Like everyone was getting involved.
Ben
This is
Rice.
how exactly. This is exactly how the Yankees got to do it, but they don't do it consistently with this group. And that's what I'm worried about moving forward is the inconsistency. When you don't have a Stanton, when you don't have a Rizzo, when they're out and they're injured, and you're only 3 players that are consistent, that's a problem. So hopefully this game here, this split in Toronto to finish off June, hopefully this will wake their asses up and they'll start July on a big time hot streak. That's all I can pray for here. But if it continues to be either back and forth slide where we don't even know where the Yankees are going to be going at, we got major problems because I told you this on SIP. I'll tell you again. Right now, the Yankees are teasing us. They teased us in May with how great they could be, and then everything fell apart in mid-June. And then now I have no idea what this team is.
And like this time, and I'm only thinking, oh crap, are we potentially seeing a recap of last year?
Yeah.
Are we seeing a repeat of last year? Because remember last year, the Yankees had a good May, and then June, they crapped the bed.
Yeah.
And then it just went up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
Smooth bump. You
and
get the
then
point.
Well, but then by August they went on a horrible streak, and then it was over. Like there was no catching up. So I don't want the same thing to happen to the Yankees again. And I think this team is too talented. I know, look, we can't expect much from Stanton because he's always going to get hurt. That's just the reality of the situation. And the Yankees are not moving that contract because no one wants it. So the reality situation is we getting the most out of Stanton, getting the most out of Rizzo. Judge is still peaking. Juan Soto is tremendous. It leveled off a little bit, but still playing very good baseball. If you're slumping, and your slugging percentage is what, 4 something, like come on now. You can't tell me that he isn't a great player here. So just putting it out there, some food for thought.
But that's the thing right now is, Soto got me scared for a minute. Soto got me scared for a minute.
But why is he scaring you?
No. Because yesterday when he got hit in the
because the hand, but he's fine because he played.
Yeah, no. At first I was thinking, oh no. We already got Stanton on the IL. We'll talk about him in a second. Don't worry, folks. We're going to talk about him in a second. Stanton on the IL. I'm like, oh no. And now they're thinking, okay, the good news is the X-ray said that his hand is negative. I'm like, okay, that's good to hear. At first, he wasn't going to play today. And then he entered later in the game, got a single. Soto that now calms me down. Because last month we were talking about the trifecta, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton. And now it's mainly Judge and Soto because Stanton is hurt. And I'm thinking if Soto gets hurt, then Judge has got to carry this team, bro.
And he already is. It's just yes, he's gonna be asked to do more than what he can do. And that's not something you want to put on your star player.
And speaking of that third part of the trifecta, Giancarlo Stanton, hamstring, he's now out for 4 weeks.
Yeah, and again, this is something that we expected to happen. I'm surprised it took until June. I thought we'd lose him much sooner than that, whether it's a bicep, tricep, knee, whatever it is. I'm surprised that he didn't go out sooner, but hey, look, I mean, just goes to show you, he's trying, man. He's trying to stay in shape so that he could play as much of a full season as possible. And, look, the fact that he's only going to miss 4 weeks with his hamstrings are really tough to come back from. But the fact that he's only going to miss 4 weeks and then he's going to do his rehab assignments and then probably come back, he'll be back by August for sure. And, that's good because if we can get a healthy Stanton for a playoff stretch, that's something that's huge. Now, because of the Yankees'
but getting
recent struggles,
Stanton for a moment,
real quick, Bill.
Staying on Stanton for a moment, there has only been 2 seasons. Actually, no, I think 1 season that Stanton has not been on the IL. And you know what? As much as I hate to give Brian Cashman credit on something, and Reggie, I hate to give Brian Cashman credit on something. I hate it. I'm sorry, what was that, Patchy?
It's like giving Rob Manfred credit.
But when they asked Brian Cashman who's most likely to get hurt, he said Stanton. And he was 100% correct. And I hate to say that Brian Cashman was right. This is a very sad day for me. Now, if you excuse me after the show, I'm just going to get a giant bottle of Jameson and cry myself in the corner.
Should apologize to Lou Gehrig Funko Pop.
Wait, what did Lou Gehrig Funko Pop do in this situation?
You're giving Brian Cashman credit for something. You got to apologize to Lou.
Lou, I am so sorry I did that. Please forgive me.
You told me off camera that I would have to apologize to it if I did something wrong.
Yes, you know what? That's going to be our new thing here. Every time you do something wrong, you got to apologize to the Funko Pop. That's our new thing.
All right.
Okay, but anyway, so yeah, Stanton was going to get injured. Stanton's injured. He's out again. Is this a shock? Absolutely not. I feel like this guy is getting hurt every 5 minutes. Why? Okay, I did. Come on, Reg.
I mean, look, it is what it is. He's gonna get hurt, and there's nothing you could do about it. Bottom line, there is really nothing you could do about it, and it's tough. It's really tough when you're trying to get things going. But what can you do? Now, like I said. Stanton's out 4 weeks, and then of course Anthony Rizzo we talked about earlier. 4 to 6 weeks, arm fracture. This is dating back to the middle of June 18th to be exact. Which was a really tough. That was a really tough one to swallow because Rizzo was starting to pick it up too. So that one was tough to watch.
And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I think Rizzo's done. I hate to say it. I think he's done.
Well, I think. Well, I don't know. I don't know yet. I mean, look, it's going to be at least 2 months, probably a September return. The thing is with the Anthony Rizzo, I think in terms of his play, I think we saw his peak. We saw his peak with the Cubs. He came to New York. He was great for that stretch run that in 21. Did an excellent job. Excellent job in 22 as well. But then, 23 rolls around, wasn't the same, got hurt. And then started out this year not very good. And it started to pick up later, but then he gets hurt. So then now we've seen the peak of Anthony Rizzo, and now he's also going to be injury prone. So this is what it is, dude. You know, like I know it's tough. But we gotta go with what we got, man. You know, we got a
And
few minor leaguers involved that we could get up
Ben
here as soon as
Rice.
possible. Ben Rice has been up here for a while. He's done a terrific job. Given what we lost, he's done a terrific job. I know it's not the sexiest name right now, but later on it could be huge.
And Ben Rice hit a
Um,
home run today. So,
yeah, and that was good to see. That was very good to see.
and you know
So yeah,
what? I
go
gotta
ahead.
say this about Rizzo. I don't think Rizzo, and you and I have been saying this, and every Yankee fan and their mother has been saying this. Rizzo has not been the same since he ran into Fernando Tatis last year. He hasn't been the
But
same.
that's not even the point is that even before that, and Rizzo was doing great, but even before that, his power was dropping off. So it's not just the injury; it's the fact that he reached his peak a while ago, and now we're seeing sort of the downturn of his career. Not saying that he isn't a great player, but sliding down a little bit. So that's just the reality. It's injuries. It's also the fact that he's getting older.
And
So tough to watch. But again, we have the good news with the Yankees is, you know, right now they salvaged the month, going over 500. Got some young players in the back of our pockets that we may start calling up to get some help here. And hopefully everyone will come back in July, regroup, and start off the month. You know, at least before the All-Star break, show me something.
show me something.
And
Show
all
us
that.
something here. So, okay. So overall, I would give the Yankees this month a B plus, C minus. No,
Yeah.
yes, no, B minus, C plus. Flip that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ding.
I'd be the same way, you know, B minus, C plus type of thing. Um, the toughest part about the month is that because of their struggles, the Orioles caught up to the Yankees and now they're leading the AL East. Um, which is, that's not something that you want. You don't want to give up your lead, a lead that they had for a while, and they had a big lead too. So you don't want to give up that lead, and then now all of a sudden they're playing catch up. They're in wild card mode and stuff. So yeah, tough one. And then on top of that, the Phillies, they're still the best team in baseball. Um, I don't want to hear this bullshit anymore, by the way, about how the Guardians, as well as they've been playing, the Guardians are the best team in the American League. The best team in the American League is the Baltimore Orioles. And it's time that we show them some respect because they're playing out their minds right now. All right.
All right. So,
But that's what the Yankees have to deal with. That's what the Yankees have to deal with.
Patch, any insights for you with the Yankees in
Uh,
June?
I, I would say C plus is their grade. You know, if you there was a couple games where it brings it down because they gave up 12 plus runs. And for the
Yes.
Yankees to do that, that's kind of unheard of. What it was like 12, I think it was like they gave up 12 against the Dodgers, 17 against the Orioles.
Yeah, the 17 against the Orioles was
Is
really, really,
I
really
I remember
damaging.
getting updates on my phone like every 5 minutes. I'm like, what is happening to the Yankees in that game? They just got it was like, certain things happen and their house just got blown up for no reason.
Yeah. And the
It was
biggest problem is that those games happened in New York. They happened
that's
in
I'm
the Bronx, one of them in Queens. So essentially it's your home territory, you know?
Yeah, it's home, and then you lose two to the Mets. It was kind of like showing that maybe the Mets might be the better team at the moment.
That's true. That could be the point.
And
So,
for ever since the Yankees inception and the Mets inception, it's been a Yankee town. The Yankees have won more World Series recently since '86 than the Mets. Granted, the Mets have won nothing since '86, but minus a couple NL championships. But throw that out the window. What have the Mets really done? The Mets are the baby brother to the big brother.
But I was listening to the Fan the other day, Patch, and I think somebody said it best. The Met, here's something the Mets can have on the Yankees in the last 10 years. They've been to the World Series more than the Yankees have. And listen, okay, they didn't win in 2015, but they've been to the World Series more than the Yankees have.
They have.
So, you got, and I think they're 100% correct on that.
I think the problem with the Yankees is we are now basically a month away from the trade deadline. The Yankees don't make that big acquisition, minus off-season acquisitions. They don't go out and steal somebody from another team that's willing to rebuild with their farm system. The Yankees don't go out and pull that big, hypothetically, that they don't go out and get Jose Altuve for pennies and schmickles. They're not going out to go grab Ohtani. They're not going out to granted, all these people are under contract, but they're not going out to bring in a big pitcher or another big bat to help when Garrett Cole's on the IL or Giancarlo's out on the IL. The Yankees are not doing that. It's kind of like they're relying on the farm system a little bit. And they're like, you know what, Giancarlo will get better. Cole will get better. We'll be ready come playoff time. And then once the playoffs happen, they get their keep ticked in.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Who should the Yankees try to get at the trade deadline? Who do you think?
Oh, well, let's not worry about the trade deadline right now. Worry about the team we have.
Get to the All-Star break and then reevaluate. If you start to slide a little bit before the All-Star break, because the All-Star break's less than 2 weeks away, the Yankees need to go I don't know how many games are in between. Hypothetical, the Yankees need to go 7-2 or something like that. They need to lose maybe 3 games before the All-Star break. And then, depending how they're doing with Baltimore, if they're close with each other, reevaluate after the All-Star break. And, heading into that last week before the trade deadline, then you assess, all right, who can we unload from the farm system or who can we unload from this team to add a bat or add a pitcher?
A bullpen piece, maybe. That's the only thing I can think of right now because Yankees need massive help from the bullpen. They need a lot of help from the bullpen.
That bullpen's not going to get them to the World Series.
And it really isn't.
It's not. And I hate to say this, Bill, because I know he's actually got off to a good start stat-wise, but Clay Holmes is not a
I agree with you.
Closer. He's not.
He is not the closer. He is shaky. I'm going to be honest. He's shaky.
The numbers obviously are very misleading. And I hate to say that because Clay Holmes has actually been a very consistent closer, but he's not lights out. He's not Aroldis Chapman. He's not Trevor Hoffman. He's not Mariano. He's not any of those big time closers in closers past. We need someone that can shut the door, that if the Yankees need 3 outs, that it's automatic. Clay Holmes is not always automatic. The second he gets into trouble, he falters. And that's really annoying. It's really annoying. He can do well as a setup man, not as a closer.
No, I totally agree with you.
And to me, there's one pitcher out there, granted, things kind of finally blew over from his scenario, but Bauer.
I've been saying that too. What's with
Trevor?
What?
Just get Trevor
He's
Bauer.
Trying out. He's trying
get
out.
Him.
He's still throwing mid-90s.
Get him. Get the guy.
What? I was calling for Trevor Bauer during the offseason. I said, why not? What's the worst that can happen? Well, I don't want to get into this whole situation.
If it doesn't work out,
who cares?
Sign to the end of the season and then kick
Agreed.
off. What's the worst
Who cares
that can
about
happen?
his past? His past didn't happen. They proved it in court. So what's the problem? Oh, well, distraction. Distraction my ass.
Well, people are still gonna
pitcher.
And Reg, while I agree with you, some people just having to go to trial for something like that, people are going to want to not touch that situation with a 39.5-foot pole.
I still call for him to, get here. I was screaming for him in the offseason too. So, but they didn't do it. He's out there. I mean, it's crazy how he's not signed with the team right now. That's me.
So that's what we get. So yeah, that's what we got to say about the Yankees in June. Hopefully, we got to see and now we got to see what goes on in July.
July they get the Reds to start off at home, before a weekend series against Boston. Then after that, they're on the road to finish off what we would be known as the first half, even though they've already played over 81 games. Tampa Bay on the road in St. Pete, and then in Baltimore for a weekend series, 12th, 13th, and 14th. Then it's All-Star break, and then they're off Friday meeting Tampa Bay again. So it's gonna be a long month.
All right, let's.
Mets, Red Sox, Phillies. That's another tough schedule. You're gonna face the Phillies, and I know the Phillies lost Harper and Schwarber, but they're still a pretty tough team. So, I say for the Red series.
Let's go series.
This is a trap series. I'm gonna say the Reds are gonna win one of these games. Probably the first game for the Yankees bounce back and win 2. So they'll take 2 out of 3.
I think the Yankees are going to take 2 out of 3 from Cincy as well. Okay, next series is the Red Sox at home.
The fan base will be energized. The Yankees will sweep.
I actually see them going 2 out of 3.
Okay.
Because I think the Red Sox are going to be out for blood.
Yeah,
well, not out for blood. Let me rephrase that. I think the Yankees will be out for blood, but I think the Red Sox are going to try to squeak one out.
Yeah, I understand why. I think they're going to sweep. I think the Yankees are mad.
Okay. Patch, what did you think about those 2 series, Reds and Red Sox?
You should easily win the Reds 1. And the Red Sox, Yankees Red Sox recently is a coin flip. One day the Yankees annihilate the Red Sox, the next day the Red Sox are annihilating you guys. But you should easily win the Red series.
Okay. Next, on the road, 3 against Tampa Bay.
Yankees do well in Tampa. They do very well in Tampa. With that said, probably another 2 out of 3. The Rays will get the middle point of that series. They'll get the second game.
Patchman.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm going to agree with you. I think the Yankees can take that series in Tampa. Next, 3 on the road against Baltimore.
Baltimore has your number right now. It's Baltimore. You're losing.
Yeah, I think Baltimore could sweep.
They're getting swept.
Yankees win 1. The Yankees win the first game.
That's being too generous, but thank you.
Can you imagine the Yankees actually win a game? Please.
They actually won a game. They actually would win a game.
They're going to get swept into the All-Star break, and the fan base is going to be mad again. Then they have a week off. Well, not Aaron Judge, but we have a week off going into the Tampa series at home and in the Bronx, and then it should be a win. They're going to take 3 out of 4 here. It's a 4-game series that ends on a Monday.
Okay. Next, coming back from the All-Star break, Yankees at home against Tampa.
I just said that they come back.
They come back.
Dang it! Go on.
I just said that they take 3 out of 4. What's your prediction?
Oh, okay. I think they're going to take 3 out of 4 as well.
Okay.
And then the Mets, I could see at least a split, but I think after this week, I think the Yankees are going to be out for blood.
No, this is going to be a pro Yankees. This is one. The Yankees
agreed. I think
the Yankees don't like losing to the Mets, whether they want to admit it or not. They don't like losing.
I think this is going to be I think Yankees are going to probably take both games. They're going to be out for blood.
Yeah, and hopefully hopefully people will be much healthier since they have the All-Star break. So hopefully that will help them a little bit, and then they'll take off. They'll
Hopefully,
kick
at
their
this point,
ass.
the Yankees heat up and the Mets cool down.
Yeah, and the Grimace vibes goes away, goes back to McDonald's. That's where Grimace belongs.
Ba-da-ba-ba. They're loving it. Not sponsored, by the way. Patchman, what
Okay.
do you think?
It depends how healthy the Yankees are after the All-Star break. If they're still a little roughed up a little bit, I see a series split. If they're good and ready to go, they're taking both games in the Bronx. You're not
So
losing to you're not going to lose to the Mets twice in your own turf. And if you
can
do,
you, yeah.
you're gonna be hearing "Who's Your Daddy" being chanted.
Can you imagine the Yankees losing all 4 games to the Mets this season? I mean, Jesus Christ.
That'd be terrible, dude. That'd be terrible.
Riot in the Bronx.
There would be riot. Next.
Fenway series.
And folks, guess who's gonna be at one of those games? Yours truly will be there.
Be safe, Bill Murphy. That's all I have to say. Be
Guys,
safe.
I just want to say if something were to happen to me, it's been a pleasure doing this with all of you.
Oh, just don't be a dummy.
Oh no, that's what I've been told, saying you can wear your Yankee stuff, just don't be a jerk.
Yeah, just don't gloat. That's about it. But listen, I wore national stuff to Boston, so I was left alone.
Well, wearing a national stuff is different than wearing Yankee stuff, there, buddy.
And I've worn Boston stuff in Yankee Stadium, and I was left alone.
Well,
because I'm not a jerk.
Just yeah,
I like to be a jerk sometimes, and and throw fuel in the fire and watch it burn down like I do on the face turn. But I know when not to be a jerk.
But yeah, I'm gonna say hopefully the Yankees take 2 out of 3 in that series.
I hope they sweep their asses. That's what I want. But realistically, I'm with Bill. 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 is realistic.
And again, guys, say something nice at my funeral in case something happens.
Okay.
Here's an
interesting. What was that, Patch?
I was gonna say I'm just gonna show up and say I told him not to be a dummy, but he didn't listen to me.
Well, the bagpipe playing Amazing Grace plays as you walk out.
No, it's gonna play Tessie by Dropkick Murphys.
Come on, give me a little respect.
No, I will.
Anyway. Okay, listen, I just want to say, guys, I have no plans on being a jerk in Boston. I'll be here doing the show next month. Don't worry, I'll be here.
All right. Monday 29th, Tuesday 30th, and then rounding out July 31st. 6:40 start time in Philadelphia against the Phillies. Phillies are banged up. They lose 2 of their best run producers. I still but because they lost Harper and Schwarber does not mean that the Phillies aren't good. So don't take it lightly. But I think the Yankees catch a break here to win 2 out of 3 in Philly.
I think that's going to be a toss-up series because without Harper and Schwarber, Phillies are going to be a little weaker, but I still think they can give them a run for their money. But I think 2 out of 3 sounds good. Patchman.
Phillies stay hot. You guys take 1. Depends how your momentum's been in July. Usually July is usually that predecessor to the last, 2 months of the season. With that said, if you guys stay healthy, 2 out of 3 is reasonable for the Yankees and Philly.
I think so too.
By the way, the game Sunday the 14th against the Orioles, it's a early morning 11:35 a.m. start time. Roku.
I like it.
Do you have a Roku stick, Bill? That you can
I think I have a Roku TV. Actually, I do have Roku.
Well, that works too.
Works.
That's where they will be. They'll be on Roku. So, for those of you trying to find the game,
yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I've got a mask. Come home, have some breakfast, watch, boom.
Yeah. So,
but
early morning start time in Baltimore that day. Yeah. I'm not in love with these 6 p.m. start times. The Phillies game at 6:40, Rays at 6:50. Like I don't know how I feel about that. Like I think it's a little too early for baseball, but I understand people want to enjoy the summertime. Night's still young when the game's over. So Times are changing is basically what that says.
Okay. Well, folks, a reason why Patchy decided to stay is because we got something special for you folks. Someone this week had a big birthday.
A massive birthday,
A,
yes.
a milestone birthday. And who
Yes.
is it? It's a man that we all grown up knowing and loving. It is our beloved captain, Derek Jeter, who
Derek
turned
Jeter,
50 this week.
the
So
big 50.
applause!
By
Applause!
the way, he looks like he's 35 still. So
That
he's
man is like
he's
the Tom Cruise of baseball. He never ages.
he's aging like very fine wine. I mean,
He's on that
absolutely
T
gorgeous
he's
looking
on
man.
that TB12 diet.
See, they all plant-based all the time and doing whatever exercise, has his own trainer, gets a massage therapist. Like I said, and I gotta tell you, I don't know what Hannah Jeter's doing to him too, but I'm sure that his little activities also helps
Well, they
too.
have 4 kids,
So
so I think that could answer your question right there. But anyway,
I,
we want to wish the former captain a happy belated 50th birthday.
yes, Derek Jeter, we love you, and to show how much we love you,
I was gonna bake a cake, but I'm not allowed near anything that produces fire. So
exactly. Me, Bill Murphy, and of course Patchman. He's been very, very helpful. We appreciate that he stays here for this. We're gonna go through our top 5 Derek Jeter moments in history. So, Bill Murphy, you can take it away.
okay, so hopefully I will redeem myself from the John Sterling fiasco.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm going to start off with my number 5. My number 5 is actually Derek Jeter's last game at Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
Where, if for those of you who don't, I remember that day clear as a bell. They didn't even know if the game was going to be played. Remember, it was raining, and they didn't know if the game was going to get played, and if it was going to get rained out, since the Yankees were basically out of playoff contention.
And it didn't matter. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if it rained out, like the game was gonna be canceled. So
They weren't going to make it up because it was that end of this season. And I remember that day. I was debating because also the Giants were playing a Thursday night game. And I'm sitting there debating, do I watch the Yankees or do I watch the Giants? And I'm thinking, okay, I'll watch a couple innings of the Yankee game and I'll watch the Giant game because I was afraid I was going to get upset and emotional watching the game. But then the Giants were blowing out whoever they were playing. And I said, you know what?
it was the Washington Redskins.
Now the Commanders. But
Mm-hmm.
but then I'm like, okay, I'll turn the Yankee game back on. And I remember with tied game, Jeter comes up to the plate and RBI single, his last at bat at Yankee Stadium, and the Yankees beat the Orioles. In the words of Michael K. See, reality.
I couldn't hear what you said, but sure. Yes.
Fantasy becomes reality.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so that was his call. You broke up there, Bill, so I couldn't hear you. But
that was I remember watching that. I was on the couch in my house. My dad was at my neighbor's. My mom was in bed. I remember when that happened, I was cheering, but also I started crying for a minute because I'm like, wow, it's over.
yeah. I watched that in my college dorm room.
I think I was watching at home.
And I mean, I was bouncing back and forth between the Giants and the Yankees as well. Giants were kicking ass, so there was no reason to keep watching that game. But yeah, no, that's also my top number 5 moment as well, because it's because it's one, it's fresh in our memory, and two, it just shows how great he was, where no moment was too big for him.
It
You
wasn't.
know, and Derek Jeter, who we all knew he didn't have a great season, like he was slowing down, But the fact that he can come through that one last time for the fan base was magical. Absolutely magical. So that's also my number 5. Patchman.
Yeah, if you look at that moment for Derek Jeter, I'll put it my number 5 as well because I'm sure I'm sure some of us will agree on something that's higher up. That's probably number 1.
Hey, you know what?
You look at
We're
that.
all entitled to our own opinions here. That's what's
That's
so
true.
great.
That's right. But I'll put this at number 5. It's just that magical moment. It's like, you know what? People can say, was it just a meatball that just let Derek Jeter have his moment in Yankee Stadium? Or was it just a sign that, this is the moment for Derek Jeter to have the perfect send off?
I
And
mean,
you can't,
right.
and you can't, you know what? As the old saying goes, how can you not be romantic about baseball?
Exactly.
That,
I mean, to be
that,
fair,
that
real
is the
quick, I
perfect send
apologize.
off. You're fine.
Nick Markakis had a beautiful throw to home plate. I mean, come on now. Don't tell me that the Orioles weren't trying. Let's be real here, you know? So, yeah, I think it was a great moment. All right. Number
It's a fantastic
4.
moment.
Okay, my number 4, July 1st, 2004. He flies into the stands.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a very
That's a
good
little
one.
higher up in my list, but
Hey,
Yeah.
that's what's so great about this great land of ours. We're all entitled to our own opinions.
Yeah.
But the thing is, what made that so great is one, it was a Yankee Red Sox game, but two, next day he was still back on the field, and he looked a little cut up there.
No,
That
oh, he got bruised badly.
you could tell this man was a freaking warrior. Like this man could probably go get hit by a bus, which I hope that never happens, and he'd probably still be playing the next day. This man put his heart on the field, and he knew it as well. So my number 4 is Jeter flying into the stands.
Mhm. My number 4 is the very first home run that he hit out of Jacobs Field, then Jacobs Field in Cleveland, Ohio against the Indians. Opening day, still have a lot of questions about Derek Jeter. He made the team, so there was that. We knew he was going to be a good player, but we didn't know how great he was going to be. And he had a nice welcome to the MLB moment there. So,
and Reg, and I think that, and I don't want to say I forgot about that, but yeah, but you need, and what I think everybody needs to know, because in spring training of that year, George Steinbrenner was sitting down with his advisors, and they told him, "Listen, we can't win with this Jeter kid."
yep.
And he was a backup. They were actually planning. Nobody knows. If you've watched the series, The Captain, they were planning on sending Jeter to AAA. They were going to trade Mariano Rivera to Seattle for their shortstop. And I think it was Joel Sherman or Buster Olney who said it. If that happened, no dynasty.
We
And
don't know for sure because
you
just
don't.
because I know why you would say that because Mariano wasn't there and whatever. But it doesn't mean they wouldn't have won World Series. It just means that they wouldn't have what 4 in 5 years. But they could have still created a dynasty. I mean, they still had plenty of good players on their team.
and also
But
the
yeah,
guy who was playing got hurt, and then Jeter, and the rest, as they say, is history.
yeah. So that's my number 4 moment.
Patchman.
Agreeing with Danny, you got to always put that first career home run in, and it just shows that, you know what? I'm here for the moment, and I'm here to prove myself that I could be part of this team and bring a championship to this team. And it's a great way to, as they say, it's the welcoming thing. Not many people in their MLB debut, as they say, hit a home run. So it's a magical moment.
Okay. My number 3, the flip play. In the 2001 ALDS. Single gets hit out into right field. Giambi is rounding the bases, getting ready to score home. Jeter gets the ball, flips it to Posada. He's out.
Okay.
I think that was just a marvelous display in fielding by Derek Jeter right there, and just by the whole Yankee team itself. That was just, guys, that was just freaking awesome. That you're thinking, okay, oh, Giambi's going to score. We're screwed, but up, nope. Nope, to Jeter, to Posada, out. Yeah. Jeter's fielding skills also need to be mentioned on that. All right, Reggie.
So, number 3, I'm gonna go with first pitch home run against the New York Mets in the 2000 World Series. The Mets had Baja Men at the stadium playing Who Let the Dogs Out. You remember Who Let the Dogs Out? That was their rallying cry. Obviously, it was a very popular song.
Yeah, that was their
too.
rallying cry of that year.
That was their rallying song of the year, and they had Baja Men come in playing Who Let the Dogs Out, and Derek Jeter reminded the New York Mets who really owns the town. First pitch home run, and the series was over. I mean, I'm sorry, and I know that the Mets ended up winning the game, blah blah blah. The series was over after that. Okay, there was no coming back from giving up a first pitch home run, and then that was just it. So yeah, that home run was massive in that series. And to be honest, the Yankee team that struggled. They struggled to get into the playoffs that season too. So big time moment for Derek Jeter. That's my number 3.
Because again, I think why that's such an important home run is because that was after, because the Mets won the night before.
Yeah.
And that was the first World Series loss for the Yankees since Game 2 of the '96 World Series.
Yeah.
And I think going into that night, the Met fans were probably all like, "Oh, we win tonight. We're back in it." And Jeter's like, "Hold my beer."
Exactly.
Yeah. Patchman.
Well, 3, I'm giving it a tie to 2 plays that have been mentioned already. Dive and the flip. So
okay.
So it's a tie.
You know, I understand that. I understand why, though.
The dive and the flip, it's 2 iconic plays that are replayed over and over again once MLB playoffs roll around, and it involves Derek Jeter having great baseball awareness. And granted, the dive wasn't part of, baseball playoffs, but it's still a play that's brought up when the Yankees Red Sox rivalry is mentioned. You just see Jeter into the stands. Baseball playoffs, flip. You just see the little shuffle to Posada, and it's an out. So that's why they're my number 3s.
Okay. My number 2. History with an exclamation point. Jeter's 3,000th hit.
Okay. Okay.
When he hit
That's
that,
my number 2.
Hey, in the words of me and my good friend JT on Mixed Bag, Patchy, we swipe right. Because this was a feature that no Yankee had done before. Ruth hasn't done it as a Yankee. Garrick hasn't done it as a Yankee. This was just amazing. And not just that, he does it with a home run. And I remember exactly where I was. I was in Jersey. My brother had a baseball tournament. It was the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. We were going to get some lunch. We had the game on the radio, and a friend of ours texted us and said, he did it. And we were just going crazy. And not too many people also mention this, besides the 3,000 hit being the home run. He also went 5 for 5 in that game.
Yeah, he had a superb day for sure. My number 2 is that dive in the stands play. And the reason why it's my number 2, even though it didn't really, it obviously mattered for, regular season purposes, divisional purposes, Red Sox, Yankees, bragging rights, that it matters for all that stuff. So, but obviously it had no impact because the Yankees lost in the playoffs. However, it's just the fact that one, it was a long night. It was a long game. The game went 13 innings in that summer night. But the fact that Jeter will not allow the Red Sox to win that game, even though it was just a regular season game, the fact that he would not allow the Red Sox to win that game, and he will do everything to make sure the Yankees had a chance. That was a pretty dope moment. Dove into the stands, got roughed up, bruised face. That bruise stayed for a long time too. And just the fact that he's able to give up his whole body and go into the stands the way he did. And, just in general, it was just a great game in general. Just a great baseball game. Like, you just added the element to it. That's my number 2, that dive in the stands play. You cannot take that away from me.
Patch, you said your number 2 is my number 2?
Yes. I remember I was home watching the game because I knew he was close. I just kept watching. I'm like, all right, let's see if he does. And then I think either I was watching in my room or the living room, and I just saw him. I saw the ball get hit. I'm like, that's a home run. He did it. Plain simple. Number 2.
Number 2, like Jeter?
Yes, Bill. That's a cheap pun. Go ding yourself.
Hey, no, I'm going to take a victory lap on that.
Ding.
That was not that good.
Okay, yeah. And Mike the Pun Master Rifkin's going to never let me hear the end of it, is he?
You know what? Dante Pookie Palmieri would be ashamed with you with that one.
Hi, Dante. If you're watching, he's probably
the original pun master that we know. No
offense,
offense,
Rifkin. Who's ready for the number 1?
Number 1, baby. Let's go.
Okay, my number 1, Mr. November.
Okay. Sure.
Hey, before you all scoff at me.
I wasn't going to scoff at you.
Thank you. At least one person's not scoffing at me. But that was in the series. And listen, the Yankees lost that series. But this was during a time when there was more than just baseball. Y'all know what I'm talking about. This was right after 9/11. New York needed something to heal them. And you want to know something? Everyone talks about the Mike Piazza home run, which was right after the attacks. And granted, that was awesome. It really put the air back into New York City. But this series, the Yankees are down 2-1. They've lost the first 2 in Arizona. They won the night before. And then in the extra innings, Jeter comes up. I remember it hits midnight. It says on the screen at Yankee Stadium, attention fans, welcome to November baseball. November 1st, because of the 9/11 attacks, they had to push everything back a week. So, attention fans, welcome to November baseball. And then Jeter hits the home run. Reggie is Mr. October. Derek Jeter is Mr. November. And that moment was just wow. Wow, because that put the Yankees back into the series too. And a different thing that I remember is after the game, after Jeter walks off the field, New York is blasting in the stadium. And I remember, I think it was either Tim McCarver or Joe Buck said, they needed to hear this. They needed to hear Sinatra playing. And then a fan had a sign that said, "We're back." So that could have meant back in the series or back from the attack, but Derek Jeter really, again, great series. Shame the Yankees lost that series, but Derek Jeter really showed the leadership and really showed just really showed what it meant to be a Yankee, not just what it meant for this team, but what it meant for this city coming out of the ashes. And that is why the Mr. November is my number one.
I mean, it's a great moment. Don't get me wrong, Bill. I love
It's
Mr.
not,
November too.
so it's not as bad
But
as the John Sterling thing.
It's not number one. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no, nothing will compare to the John Sterling because I was losing my absolute, you know what, when I was, I was losing my absolute caca when I was editing that video, and I was going ape caca in my room editing.
All right, Reggie, what do you got as your number one?
So it's a tie. I really had to think about this, but I think we need to lump together one when Derek Jeter passed Lou Gehrig.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
I agree.
And
yep, that
and
I had
the
that idea.
3,000 hit. And a 3,000 hit. I also was gonna make it a three-way where he passed Lou Gehrig's Yankee Stadium record. The old Yankee Stadium that I'm referring to. But that's not as big as passing Lou Gehrig to become the Yankees' all-time hits leader. I mean, that's a bigger moment than passing, a stadium record. I mean, that is what it is. It's a great moment, but I think Derek Jeter becoming the all-time Yankees hit leader and then the 3,000th hit, and then he had many more hits after that. I think those two moments in itself deserve to be number one because of the fact of how great Derek Jeter is, how great the hitter he was. He always hit for average, always had big time hits. Those two hits were the biggest ones in his career. Um, Knowing that how much he loves the franchise, like, and how much he always gave it to the fans. Those two are tied at the top for number one. And as for the home run, I mean, I was watching it at home. I actually watched it. It's funny how it worked because back then I was watching the game on the internet. The internet was faster than the Yes feed on TV. So I watched Derek Jeter hit the home run. Then, of course, Yes was playing it. So it was a whole spectacle. I mean, I didn't expect him to hit a home run to get his 3,000th hit. I mean that was just magical. Him hugging Posada, they've been teammates for so long, and then obviously the going 5 for 5 that day, just it's a cherry on top day that. So, those two are my top two moments. Jeter becoming the franchise leader in hits, and then the 3,000 hit, tied at the top.
All right. Patchman, what's your number one?
Well, with Dan, passing Iron Horse. And then the other one is his home run against Baltimore in '96 that, created that created controversy.
The Jeffrey Mayer.
The Jeffrey Mayer situation.
We still love Jeffrey Mayer.
Yes, you are awesome, Jeffrey. We love you.
But, was it fan interference? It don't matter. It's a home run. And it kind of swung in the Yankees' favor after that, man. It was, you know what? It is the moment like that happened in Chicago that cursed the Cubs for another 15 years.
Yeah, and the Baltimore Orioles tried to be like, oh, well, see, if it wasn't for that, they would have won the series. Bullshit.
Yep.
That is a BS.
Bullshit. The Yankees were the better team that series. How about that? So I don't want to hear that crap. But
yep, yes,
that's actually that's hilarious. That's actually hilarious. Just a couple of my honorable mentions. The flip play, as great a play and it was a grip play. That's an honorable mention to me, only because even though it wasn't the playoffs, and it certainly saved the Yankees. It's just a nice play. And it just goes to show you how much athleticism he had.
I mean, honorable mention his performance in the All-Star game in 2000 when he was named the starting shortstop.
Yeah, that was good too. That was good too.
I will give, you know what? Since you had it on your list, I'll give the his first home run, Jacobs Field, honorable mention.
All right, cool. All right. Well, Bill.
Guess what time it is?
Yes, it's time.
It's time for Stump the Reg.
Okay, so Patchman's also here to be my lifeline, as they would call it on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So I have a lifeline with Patchman, but I'm gonna take my first guess.
Okay. This question, it's basically about the same thing, but it's in different parts, and I'll explain as we go on.
Sure.
Okay, okay, the first one, it's about Aaron Judge.
Okay.
Judgy. Okay.
He is the first player. Okay, no, one of the three players
Okay.
in Yankee history to have 80 or more RBIs before July. Who were the other two? And one of them did it twice.
Okay, so Aaron Judge, repeat that. I'm sorry, I'm trying to understand
Okay.
it.
In Yankee history, Aaron Judge is one of the three
One
players
to
to
three.
have 80 or more
Have
RBIs
80
before July.
or more RBIs for July.
Who were the other two? And one of them
So
did it twice.
who had 80 RBI before July? One to three, and the one person did it twice, but it doesn't count towards two, right? I mean,
Yeah, only two other players have done it, but one of them did do it twice. So yes, you're right.
but it doesn't count as two. It just counts as one, right?
Yes.
Okay. Um, 80. Uh, who's really good? Mantle, he was good. No.
Is that one of your guesses?
That was one of my guesses. Yes.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect.
Yes, yes, there's a bigger base on your face. Um, who else is really good? Don Mattingly was a great hitter. Did he do it? No. Um,
Would you like to guess, Patchman?
A-Rod.
no, no, no.
No, well, A-Rod did have a couple of hot streaks here and there.
He didn't hit 100 till like August, September. Um,
Are we talking like recent player or like old players?
yeah.
Old.
Old, okay.
Well, how old? How old we talking?
I don't want to say it. I'll give it away.
No, no, not necessarily. Yogi Berra.
Wrong.
Joe DiMaggio.
I was about to say.
Wrong.
Yeah,
Oh.
see, it's none of the big time players. That's the problem. Did this player win the World Series?
Yes.
He won the World Series. Is it a player we should know?
Yes.
Reggie
Okay, so the
Jackson.
player, yeah,
No.
no. Reg didn't do it. Let's see. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Babe
Yes,
Ruth.
it was both of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what? Just which one of those two did it twice?
Oh, Jesus.
Wait,
Lou
Babe
Gehrig.
Ruth and I would have said Babe Ruth.
No, yeah, it was Babe Ruth and
Lou
which one
Gehrig.
did it twice?
But who did it twice? You said Babe Ruth. I say Lou Gehrig. Which one was it?
It was Lou Gehrig.
Okay.
Okay. And
All right.
speaking of that, okay, this is more Aaron Judge with a general baseball question. He is one of the only three players to have 80 RBIs and 30 home runs, 30 plus home
80
runs
RBI.
through June. Who were the other two?
80 RBIs and how many? 31 home
30,
runs?
30 plus
30
home runs.
30 home runs. Okay. Through June, who were the other
Two.
two?
Yeah, who were
Okay.
the other two?
Oh,
Same two
Jesus
people.
Christ. Babe Ruth? No. 80 RBI. There's two other players that did that and it wasn't Babe Ruth.
It was not Babe Ruth. They just showed the graphic on yesterday.
Oh, I didn't. I was barely watching the game. Um,
Ooh.
Wait. So in baseball history or in Yankees history?
Baseball.
Okay. All right. So that's a broader question.
Barry Bonds.
No,
That's Willie Mays.
no, but rest in peace.
No.
We miss you.
McGuire.
Yes, he was one of them.
Okay.
Sosa.
McGuire is one of them.
And no, it wasn't Sosa.
It was not Sosa. Big time great player. Let's see. Canseco, he was a good home run hitter. No.
Too bad he wasn't power. I would have said Etrio because Etrio
Gri-
liked it.
Griffey. Was Griffey one of those? No. Was he a power hitter? Well, obviously, 30 home runs.
Yes.
Trout.
How far are we talking?
It's actually a recent one.
Stan.
Most recent one. No. Shohei. No.
And by recent, I mean within the last 15 years.
Chris
Within the
Davis.
last 15.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good one. I never thought about Chris Davis. That's a good
Chris
one.
Davis. Well, Chris Davis had that one season where he hit like 50.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about
I
that.
just 2 for 2.
Well, that's a stump from that stumped me. So that
Good job, Patch. Good job, gentlemen.
yeah. So you give me is that all you got?
That is all I got for today. Yes.
All right. So then Bill actually gets credit because I didn't get the second one. So Bill actually gets credit for that. So
Hey, but I give you a tip.
Those are good.
I give you a tip of the hat, dude. You did that was good.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So that is our show for today, my friends. If you want to see more, go to www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com. Check out all our blogs, our bios. Check out our podcast available on all platforms. If you want to follow us on X, Reggie, where do they go?
As Sandy Real is our X handle. It's also you can search at as Sandy Real on Facebook. If you don't want to search that, just search Sports Sandy Network. And of course, this podcast is on YouTube only. So like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell.
Hit that bell. Hit that bell, folks. Hit that bell.
All right. Danny Boy, Bill Murphy, Patch, man, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Patch.
Thanks for having me. I'm going back in my hole.
You'll be doing just fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We probably won't see Patch for a trillion years. And anyways,
yeah, this is his he comes out of his whole day. That doesn't happen now for another 10 months.
It's been 84 years.
Yeah, okay. So we'll see you in 84 years, Patch.
We appreciate you. We love you. Check us out anytime. Peace.
Stay safe, take care, and let's go Yankees.